Alright, if you clicked on this video, you want to learn how to build a Greek god physique where you develop that V-taper that looks aesthetically pleasing to other people as well as yourself. And this is the no bullshit guide. I'm giving you the sauce on everything that I learned throughout the years on how I was able to take myself from like 115 pounds, super scrawny, skinny, no confidence, to now looking like a Greek god at 170 pounds, being lean all year round. So the first thing that you need to understand is there are important muscle groups that you need to look for into the gym. So if you want to develop a properly V-taper and a proportional physique, you need to learn the specific muscle groups that are going to be important. So the first one is going to be your chest. Now, a lot of people train chest. They do a lot of flat benching. They go through a lot of flat bench presses or flat bench movements. They even target their middle chest, but they forget about their upper chest. If you look at your favorite superheroes or you look at your favorite physiques online, the reason why people got that full looking chest is not because they got better genetics than you. They developed that upper chest. And I'm telling you right now, it's such a night and day difference. If you look at my example, on the left side, I have like absolutely no chest. When I first started, I had I had like the smallest chest, non-existent chest that you can probably imagine. And then once I learned how to train it properly and I started focusing on incline movements and started stop really just flat benching in order to get that Greek god look, that is me today. That is exactly me at around 170 pounds. That's exactly what you should be doing, prioritizing upper chest movements. Now, the second thing is your back. So, there's two important things that you need to understand about your back. It's not just about the width and it's not just about the density. You need to have both. If you want to get that V taper to where your waist looks a lot smaller and you get that illusion to other people as well, then you need to develop your width and your upper back thickness. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might be pulling heavy in the gym, you might be lifting weight off the bar. But for example, when you're doing a lat pull down, you're probably rocking and you're not probably controlling the weight and you're not thinking about driving your elbows to your side and pulling your hips towards your lats. That's exactly how you're going to, first of all, build that width and build that V taper that you are looking for in your physique. And then the second thing is prioritizing close grip rows, chest supported rows, any sort of row that is how going to help you get your back thickness and that density in order to get something like this. Like this is me looking at this today, I would never think I was able to develop something like this naturally, but you will see the kind of progress you can truly make and what kind of potential that you can make when you actually learn how to train with intent and what to look for in the gym instead of just lifting weight off the bar. Now, the final one is going to be your shoulders. Now, why is shoulders important? Well, not only is it going to help you as well have the illusion of a smaller waist, but when you have 3D delts, you're going to not only look good without, like, when you have no shirt on at the beach and you're walking around, but even in clothes, people are going to notice you lift because you have a broader and wider frame. And that's exactly what happened to me. If you look in the first picture, I looked okay. Like, honestly, this is probably a few months into lifting as well. But if you can see the difference, when I developed my shoulders, not only do I look better, but I look wider, I look more aesthetic, and I look more of like that Greek god type look that a lot of people look for. So how do you develop that? So the first thing is there's three parts of the shoulder. The first part of the shoulder that you need to understand is, of course, your front delt. Now, a lot of the time when you are doing chest presses and you're doing pressing movements, for example, you're going to get a lot of activation in your front delt. So a lot of people do have or most people do have a developed front delt. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't, you could do shoulder presses, a shoulder press machine, I recommend, something like that. But the two important things in order to get that 3D look in your shoulders that a lot of people don't have is your side delts and your rear delts. Now, your side delts, you want to prioritize lateral raises, and you want to make sure you're not just swinging the weight with dumbbells, for example, and you want to control it, driving it away or thinking about throwing it away from your torso and controlling it back down. That is how you're going to be able to develop side delts over time. Over time as well, yes, a lot of people might have both of those, but then what really people neglect is your rear delts. If you want to get that capped look, but only not only that capped look, but that Greek god look, you need to have your rear delts developed as well, which is in the back of your shoulder. I know it doesn't show in this picture, but it's in the back of your shoulder and it's going to make you look 3D. That's the kind of V taper look that looks really good on a lot of people. Now for rear delts, I like to either do reverse pectic flies. I like to do rear delt cable flies. In my opinion, when I started doing rear delt cable flies, that is when I really start seeing the most progress. So, I mean, of course, you can do with dumbbells. Like, I would recommend do your research on the best exercises and find the ones that work best for you. But that's just what worked for me personally. So going into the upcoming year, this is the Greek God formula that I want you to follow that is going to be a game changer and you are going to be ahead of the game. When you were in the gym, you're no longer going to be somebody just lifting weight off the bar, praying for results to come out of thin air. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to train for symmetry instead of ego lifting, going for 1 rep PRs. That shit does not matter if you want to really develop a Greek god physique. And instead of just doing workouts to where you're chasing the pump, you need to start training with high intensity, low volume training. So the aesthetics is going to basically be the ratios to where that's going to lead into wider shoulders, a tighter waist, upper chest. Remember, like that plate loaded look. And then overall, getting that V taper. That is how you're going to be able to get that. Now, the second one is going to be prioritizing intensity over volumes, like I just mentioned. I would recommend all you need is 2 to 3 brutal sets, meaning going till failure on each and every single set instead of doing 10 to 12 lazy ones of you just trying to, get a bunch of reps in, just absolutely not controlling the weight just because it feels good on your muscles and that you're getting a good pump. If you want to develop this kind of look, you need to start training smarter instead of exactly more with more volume and not really so much more intent. Now, the third one is going to be building the illusion for your muscles. That is going to come from your lateral delts, your upper chest, your lats, and your rear delts. Like I said, going into all those muscle groups that we just talked about, once you develop those, you are going to see a huge difference in the kind of look that you can achieve and what kind of potential you actually have. And then the fourth one is going to stay lean enough to actually see progress. When you are trying to build this kind of look, you want to stay lean all year around. There's no reason why to keep packed to just eat all the foods that you want and go in a dirty bulk thinking that just because you're putting pounds on the scale means that you're going to look like this. If you want to do it properly, you need to give your body time to put on muscle because at the end of the day, if you are natural and you're trying to do it just like me naturally, you need to give yourself time and fall in love with the process instead of trying to rush it and find shortcuts. Now, the most important thing in the final one is you need to repeat the same movements until you master them. Meaning, if you have a set routine that you set for yourself, stop switching it up. Whenever you find the exercises that work best for you and you have your own routine that works best for your body, your kind of goals, and how you feel, stick to it for a long period of time until you progress and you progress. And then once you progressive overload and you start maxing out those movements, then you could start thinking about, maybe adding different ones. But a lot of people get the mistake of when you keep switching up your training, it's not going to do any better for you. It's just going to make you feel worse and is going to leave gains on the table. So going into 2026, follow this Greek God formula. This is exactly what I use to go from 115 pounds to 170 pounds. And you will thank yourself and be ahead of the game. Go chase those goals. If you guys want more videos like this, like and comment, subscribe. And I also am doing one-on-one coaching. You can go click the link in the description if you were interested in that. Other than that, until the next video.